She
Well,
goes, never have I ever found a man that irks me like you. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to put a finger down.
yeah, does she not have a good grid?
I don't know. Welcome to Allegedly, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Hope the wife and kids are amazing.
We have another great episode here for you today. We are discussing, we are reviewing the latest and greatest Netflix show.
Love is Blind. I think from one pod to another, we have a lot to dig into. This show is just absolutely insane. Dakota and I both just finished watching the finale, the weddings, the meat of it all, what we have all been waiting for. 30 days, and some of these folks are married. And before I go into this, let me preface this by saying spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Well, what would you say to someone who has not watched the show? Like, would you recommend it or would you not?
For someone who has not watched this show, I would say, what are you doing? Like, how are you so busy that you have not made time for 10 episodes of the greatest shit show I have ever seen?
I agree with that. I've never watched The Bachelor, but you have. How would you compare it to The Bachelor?
As a strong member of the Bachelor Nation community, Peter's season is a dumpster fire. Love is Blind is an even bigger dumpster fire, but in
the best way possible.
Yes, like it is just amazing. 36 minutes into this show, and this man is already saying he loves her and proposing. Like, what?
Like, what is happening?
Yeah, I mean, come on, like, buy me dinner first. But I guess that's the whole point of the show. Going into the first episode and watching Cameron and Lauren, my first impression was, what the hell? How is this even possible? I don't understand. And then I almost thought they were kind of weird, I think.
Yeah.
And then whenever I saw them meet, I immediately became obsessed with them.
They were the favorite. Were you surprised by the result?
No, I wasn't surprised. I had a feeling that they would get married. However, I will say that as I was watching the show and kind of like taking notes, I literally wrote, does she seem happy or uncomfortable that she doesn't want to hurt such a nice guy?
So the thing that I thought of, and I kind of thought it a little bit of the whole season post pods with Lauren, was I feel like because she's so well spoken but isn't extremely emotional, it was hard to navigate through if she was really in love with him or not.
Yeah.
Because everyone else on that show is extremely emotional. She is the most balanced, I would say, on the show.
Yeah.
To where she stood alone a little bit in trying to figure out like what is going on.
Totally. I think you're exactly right. I think she is so normal.
Yeah.
And to go on a reality show like this, you have to be like slightly mentally ill and insane.
Which is where Cameron falls. Because he did have like creeper vibes every now and then.
So maybe I am just oblivious, but I did not see it at all. And maybe I just love his cute little face. I don't know.
There were so many emotional moments with the men on the show where they just seemed out of control, and the women seemed so much in control, and so, like on two different poles, to where I was like, oh Lord, this guy, I don't know.
I don't know that I agree that the women seemed in control. I think Lauren did. And Kelly. I would say Kelly is...
Totally agree.
But the rest of them, absolutely absurd.
I don't even know where we start. I think let's dip in for a tad second about Carlton and Diamond.
Okay.
So I thought he was annoying from the start.
Egghead.
Yeah. I think that whenever he was just talking about like his partner needed to be perfection or look a certain way, it like they pin him out to be that guy, which is like the enemy of the show. Like if you talk about look or appearance, you're automatically like enemy number one. We're talking through walls here. Totally. So I thought that was like that's kind of where he went. And then once they got to the honeymoon and he broke it down for her, I thought that was her response was extremely fair in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that whenever he brought up that he is bisexual, I was like, okay, that's fine. That's not a problem. But the problem for me, and where I would assume that Diamond's problem was, is you get engaged to a person and then you mention it. Like, that is just absolutely not fair. And it's not coming from a place of like, I'm judging you for your sexuality or like the people you're interested in. Like that's not what it is at all. And I think that that's how it seemed he was taking it. And it's more about like, hey, you're about to commit to this person forever, or at least for the next 30 days. And you should probably be open and honest with them. And if you don't feel comfortable telling them that, then you shouldn't have gotten engaged.
Right, which is exactly what she said. I think she completely focused on the fact that she said, I wish you would have like told me in the pods. Like, I wish you would have done it this way.
Right.
That's all she said. She didn't say I have a problem with it. She didn't say this or that, but she just simply said exactly what you wanted, which is, I wish you would have told me this before. That was the critique. And then he went off. He completely went off.
Oh.
And he flipped on his own word. He said the night before that people have a problem with it, which is why he was emotional, which like he was having a tantrum. And then when they were at the pool, he acted like, oh, well, like everyone's down with this.
Yeah.
He was like, it's 2020. Everyone's down with this. Why are you got a problem? You're stuck in the past, Diamond.
Yeah, he's a mess.
She gave him a good baptism, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw, I sent it to you, the pictures of the upcoming reunion.
Yes.
And they're both there. I am just so intrigued to see what's going to happen. All right. Well, enough about Carlton because I cannot stand him. I would like to talk a little bit about Damian and Gigi. I would first like to say that Gigi, the entire time I was watching the show, I was like, I freaking love this girl.
Did you?
And I was thinking about it, and I was like, Gigi is me when I'm being a psychopath.
I can see a lot of similarities, but I think the only problem that I had with her was I sometimes had a hard time buying it. Like, I think she potentially almost ruined the show for me in the sense that, like,
really?
Yeah, because I liked her, but I thought that the way that she communicated was almost a little bit acty. Like, it felt like she was performing more so.
I can see that.
Like, truly being engaged in the moment without the cameras around. She was the only person that I felt that way with.
I can see that. I can totally see that.
But she is the fan favorite. So, like, we came prepared. Who is currently the most popular on social media, and Instagram is the litmus test of all of that. And she has the most followers.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me because I think she's freaking amazing. And I think that for like entertainment purposes and being like a reality TV stan, the people who do bring that heat are who I am like drawn most towards. Because
I think she knew that. I think she kind of knew that going into it, and that's why she was performing a little bit.
Exactly, but that's the point. Like, if I went on this show, I would probably act pretty similar to her. And that's terrifying because there were parts where I just was sitting there like, oh, sweetie girl, I love you so much.
Sweetie.
Because I feel I can relate to you on a spiritual level. However, the way that she communicates when she's fighting, I'm like, that is absurd.
My favorite part about her is her middle name.
What, Milady?
Yeah, Milady.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that she is epic.
What did you think of Damien?
Oh, Damien is the worst.
He is a little bit off.
No, Damien, if I can direct quote my notes, and please excuse any language used. These are truly my notes from while I was watching the wedding episode. Damien is a controlling dick that will freak out on you if things don't go his way. He reminds me of a guy I was seeing last year.
Wow, so that hit to home in so many levels, both of them.
Yeah, Damien is, I can't. He's one of those guys that he wants to present absolutely every single person around that he's the perfect one. He isn't doing anything wrong because he's with a girl who's very emotional, but also very willing to express her emotions. And yes, she does not communicate them in the right way all the time, but he is not in the right and he thinks he is. And I hate guys like that. Like, if you can't own your shit and if you are not willing to be like, yeah, you know what? Like, I messed up, because I think that she at times was willing to admit that. I think there were times where she wasn't.
Right.
But he just wanted to put on this show, I feel like. And then
that's weird that you say that, because I think that of her. I think that I liked her. I liked Milady, but I did think that she was showy, and maybe because you liked her more than I did, as far as just like who she was or who her character was, I didn't pick up notes that Damien was just the scum of the earth. I was more so in the ballpark of like, okay, he's weird. Like, he's crying a lot. Like, you know what I mean? I think I put people that cried a lot so early on in the show as like a, whoa, like this person fell really fast, because I related more so to the people that were like, okay, I'm not sure. This is crazy.
I can see where you would say show wise, as in like acting. I don't think Damien was acting. However, what I more mean by that is like, he to me just reminds me of a guy who wants everyone around him to think his relationship's perfect. And then behind closed doors, he's like, you're a freaking worthless human. Get it together. Why are you the reason that our relationship is failing?
Ooh.
And I could just, ooh.
Jeez,
I hate him.
Wow.
So anyways, Damien said no to Gigi. Gigi ran away.
She got poop stained when she fell.
The muddy dress of it all. That was
I will say the women of that family know how to run in heels, because Mama came right after her.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I liked her parents a lot.
Yeah, I did too. They seemed sweet. They're very family oriented. It was clear.
Moving right along to Kenny and Kelly. I liked Kelly. I thought that she kind of approached the show in a similar way that I would, where she was kind of bought into it. She was like proceeding with a lot of caution. So I don't know. She seemed more realistic than some of the people that were falling head over heels. But she was still like keeping an open mind and positive the whole time. Okay. Do you feel that way about her? No.
So Kenny and Kelly were interesting for me because so going into the last episode, I liked them as a couple, and I actually thought that they were going to end up together.
Me too. I thought that they were going to at least kind of go from there. Yeah,
especially because they both had parents who were in super short-term relationships, got married, and kind of moved on. And not to say that you're always reflective of your parents' relationship, but I think that both couples having that in common,
Yes, I thought
kind
that
of
that was strong.
made me feel more inclined to think that they would be together. I thought
Mhm.
that like the whole waiting to have sex and everything, that's completely fine. I thought that that was kind of touched on a little bit more than it needed to be. Even
I
though,
thought it was interesting that they brought it up so much because I think that a lot of like The Bachelor, from what I know of The Bachelor, is they kind of just like zoom in on the door handle and they're like, "Ooh, what's
yeah,
happening behind this little keyhole?"
yep,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
So
Yeah,
I do like that they kind of broke the ice and they were just like, "Okay, are we getting down with the business or are we not?" And they talked
yeah,
about it a lot, which was interesting. And I guess it does. I mean, that is a really good question. You know, how are people approaching this?
yeah,
So
and
I like that they unpacked that.
yeah. Well, I think it's fine, but my only kind of thing about them, while I liked them, they were the most boring couple to watch.
They were for sure.
Like, I really liked them. I thought that they were going to end up together. Whenever Kelly said no and Kenny was standing at the altar, my ass started crying. Like,
Did you really?
yes, I felt so bad for him. I wrote that I think he's such a precious gem. The
He
way that
is.
the way that he addressed the um people at the ceremony, he's just so sweet.
Yeah,
And
and
so
her.
I felt really bad because I truly thought that they seemed like, from what we saw, even though the show did not focus on them at all, and it was because they weren't giving them what we would want to watch anyways
Right.
for 10 episodes. But I thought they seemed like such a solid couple, and her mom literally loved him.
Kelly's mom saying "I love him" was a strong moment, and he kind of his character turned at the end because,
Yeah,
and I like that. Like he seemed invested in her at least, and
yeah,
I'm not really sure what her problem was. What it seemed like it
yeah.
was
I don't know.
looks, you know, like because she didn't. There's not really much about his personality
Yeah,
that was
he's
the
so
problem.
nice.
He seemed nice. He seemed fun. He didn't seem weird. Like she could have said he's boring, but like she really only focused on the fact that it wasn't his appearance. Like that was really kind of all that she said. That was a potential problem. That when she sees him, she's not getting that internal
Butterfly
enjoy.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, which is too bad. I don't even think he's that bad looking of a dude.
Yeah, I thought one thing that was funny though was whenever Kenny's mom was talking to him before the wedding, she was like, "Oh, I need some wine," and I was thinking she just needs to go find a bottle from Jessica.
Oh my God. Please unpack Jessica because I will go off.
So Jessica was, I think, a casting gem, like because she was kind of the person that came out as like, okay, she's like a little bit of the older one in the cast. She's super hot, but she's crazy. I like that they kind of started out with all the guys liking her, or I guess two of the guys liking her, which seemed like a lot for the show.
Right.
And then, I mean, it turned south really quick. I mean, I think I'm most curious about it's not who's still together. It's more so like, what does Jessica think of the show?
And is she
Because
still
she got
feeding her
wrecked.
dog wine?
She got wrecked so bad, and she was so sloppy throughout the show.
So let me just preface this by saying, Jessica, in the off chance you're listening to this, I hope you're well. You should probably turn this off because I'm about to rip you a new one. So no, but actually I started off the show thinking that Jessica was going to be my favorite. I'm like, okay, she seems actually slightly serious about this. She's
She was
older.
serious.
She's ready to really commit and, dive in. And then something just flipped. And I just think she's absolutely the worst. She makes my eyes roll. She's a hypocrite. She sits there and is like, oh no, like, I don't like you, Barnett. After she spent 7 episodes literally obsessing over him and what is he doing. And oh, I don't think that Amber and him really care about each other. They just want to have sex, blah, blah, blah. Like, Jessica, just because you're not attracted to Mark, like, make that clear.
Yeah.
Mark is clearly, at least what he put in front of us on Netflix, is that he is this sweet guy, which I don't know if it's necessarily true. He may have just gotten that edit, but
well, I kind of thought it was true. And I think, well, like, however the edits turn out at the end is the reality. So I'm living that truth. But okay. I think the problem with him, that maybe he needed to do a little bit more to get Jessica, but he had a hard time doing it just because of the way that she was moving throughout that experiment, is he just kept like falling on his sword, and he just kept like apologizing all the time, and he had no expectations of her, which is the problem. Like, all of the expectations or the chasing, you know what I mean, was just so one-sided that I think she kind of needed someone to be like, kind of step up and wear the pants for just a second.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, she's definitely one that will wear the pants, you know, but I think she wants someone to, whether she knows control. You know?
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think, I don't know, like, and maybe if I was in this situation and I really wanted to make things work, at least for the television show purposes, and I didn't want to be humiliated, which I don't know if that's how he felt, but I was sitting there watching the show and I'm like, Mark, what the hell are you doing? Like, she clearly is not interested in you. And it was, what my thoughts are, is it was superficial. I don't think that whenever she kept saying, oh, I'm just like, it's such a weird difference, like being outside of the pod, and like, it's so hard. I'm just having a hard time getting there. No, like, if I walk into a bar and I see an attractive guy and we have a good conversation, I'm not going to be like, oh, I wish I was talking behind a wall with you.
It's, you know, what's crazy is she could have been like a cougar hero at the end of all this. You know,
totally. But like, she's the Cougar Zero.
Yeah, like, she could have been the poster child for the cougar community, but she dropped the ball heavily. And
she is serving zero justice for cougars. And you know what? Priyanka Chopra was pulling for her.
Yeah, I know. So I think the thing too that just hurt her is that she was so guarded and he was so unguarded, that just like kind of wrecked her. I think the way that she was concerned with certain things was fair, because I think maybe she didn't say it, but like what I was saying before, him not wearing the pants at all, like never even really trying them on, kind of showed his immaturity a little bit, I think. And maybe that's just him as a person, but she just kept falling back on his age. And I don't know. Yeah. It was just bad. And when you said something about it being embarrassing, her friend, she was like, that's so embarrassing for her. And then it was just like, oh, wait till you watch the show.
Yeah. No, she's a mess. I wish nothing but the best for her, and more importantly for her dog. She just, I don't know. The thing is, I think that she is, I can't express enough how much I hate her. Her being up at this altar smiling like an idiot just to be like, no, I don't think so. Like,
I mean, I think everyone was nervous, and you're there with your family. But it was just kind of a hard thing.
No, but out of anyone, when she was walking down the aisle, when she was standing up there, she was hamming it up more than people who said yes. She was
she knew
from ear to ear, like, I'm about to crush little Marky Mark.
Oh man,
Jessica's the worst.
Yeah, I think that even she just brought up Barnett, like when she was really drunk that one night. That was like a red flag. And then, no, she just seemed like she couldn't get over him, which is weird. Like he clearly moved on, and he made that very clear. I think what I want to see if they have another season is they need to figure out a better way for people who potentially had a connection in the pods to reconnect outside of those group settings, so we can get more raw conversations about like, ooh, maybe I still like you or something like that.
Yeah.
Because whenever they met at the apartments, it seemed like they kind of set that up, but neither one of them were really ready. She almost like
I think she was ready.
Pulled herself out. Yeah, but he stayed strong. It just seemed awkward, or I don't know what it was.
Yeah, Barnett is a super interesting person for me.
What do you think about him? Did you
So the first time that like I saw him, I was like, oh, this guy's hot, but like he's definitely a player, definitely like this, you know.
He was the cool guy.
Yeah, like stereotypical cool guy that like you're like, damn, he's really hot, but like I just don't trust you. Like I really, really just, I don't know. I didn't know how to feel about him, but then I think that he turned like I gained a little bit more respect for him whenever Jessica was, I feel like, kind of pushing really hard.
Yep.
And he just kept being like, no, I like Amber. No, I like Amber. No, I like Amber.
Yeah, and it takes a lot to like Amber, I think.
I was just going to say that.
And he didn't even shake. He never shook. I think that's where he earned the respect from everyone. Is he was the cool guy that kind of had two girls, and then he transitioned to being super loyal to one girl, and that one girl was who I thought was just like the most unlikable on the show.
Yeah, she's
cringy. She's very cringy.
Oh, she's so cringy. She is like, she's toxic and obsessive. Like, you know, it's funny that I am expressing how much I love this show because I feel like I've had nothing but negative things to say about most of these people. No,
constructive.
She's just one of those people that I just can't mess with. Like whenever the drinking stuff, when she went to meet his parents and he was like, yeah, my parents don't really drink very much, and then she proceeds to like act the way she did. I just was like, girl,
she was shook. She was scared to death when she was there.
She is just, I don't think, well, I don't know if this is fair to say, but I don't know that she's super self-aware or has situational awareness. That's probably the better thing to say. She is very much herself, which I think is like nice. Like,
yeah,
she's willing to own the person that she is. However, it's kind of trashy.
Yeah, she was trashy.
Yeah,
it was borderline arrogant a lot of the times. The way that she was kind of pumping herself up when they were in the pods.
Yep.
Like once she stopped talking about herself and started pumping Barnett up, that kind of changed a little bit. But she was just cringy the whole time, I thought.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really hated whenever she was at the altar and said, "No one irks my nerves like you do."
She said. She goes, never have I ever found a man that irks me like you. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to put a finger down.
Yeah, I was just sitting there thinking, wow, that is just the most romantic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it felt very junior high almost.
Yeah, I didn't like that. And then I noted, I can't remember exactly what the whole conversation was, but at some point, and I think it was someone asked Barnett if he was ready, and he said, I guess, while they're at the altar. I'm like,
Which, I mean, that's fine. I think in this situation, that's fine to say. Like, if
over my dead body, if my husband is standing at the altar and I'm about to walk out and someone says, "Are you ready?" and he says, "I guess," please set that ceremony up in flames. Like, I do not want to be any part of that.
I think there is a lot of indecisiveness injected into all of them, though, in that show. Like, throughout that process, because they have to be, like, figuring it out to that big moment. And it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it's the same thing that Lauren said, like, at her, whenever she was getting ready, she's like, I don't think I'll know until I'm asked, you know?
Yeah.
So there's no difference in those two statements to me.
I know. Maybe I just like Lauren and she can do no wrong.
She can do no wrong. She can't do no wrong.
I don't know. The thing that's kind of interesting for me, and maybe they were forced. I assume they were probably forced to have to, like, go in, but I am not putting on a wedding dress unless I'm saying yes to someone.
I think that was part of it. Like, I'm really curious about how, like, the behind the scenes work, but I think that was part of the deal, whatever deal it was, or whatever, you know what I mean? Because it all led up to that moment, that, like, conversation at the altar. So I think that there was something heavy weighing at the end there.
Yeah, that's very true. But mark my words, if I am on this show season 2, which clearly is going to be in the making shortly, and I'm saying no to someone, you will see those doors open up and I will be wearing my champion sweatpants. Like,
with a glass of champagne.
With a glass of champagne, maybe some slippers, maybe barefoot, hair in a bun. Like,
You heard it here first. Can I be one of the can I be in the bridal party?
Absolutely.
Wow, honored.
Yeah, no, but I just don't think that I could ever put on a wedding dress if I was going to say no to someone. And if I am wearing a wedding dress and the person across from me says no, they are getting decked in the face. I don't care what is happening. They're going down.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be crazy. I mean,
I guess you do know what you signed up for.
Yeah. So did you have a favorite part from the show, or, like, a favorite moment?
Favorite part?
Well, there's a couple, actually, I think. I think Lauren's dad was a huge moment of the show, and they teased him and they used that moment because that was something that I think I was most curious. Like, I was invested in the show because I was like, ooh, I got to see this.
Yeah, Lauren's dad was great. The lead up, I think, to Jessica and Barnett seeing each other for the first time, I was really excited about, and then it was true that. Like, the terrible person in me and the reality show person wanted there to be some sort of scandal that there just wasn't.
Yeah, me too.
Which, I should never wish that upon anyone, but I really did. Lauren and Cameron meeting, I thought, was one of the sweetest moments.
I mean, they had it from cover to cover. They kind of took cover to cover. They were the beginning couple that captured the audience, and then I think they ended at a really strong note. Yeah,
I think that when we see the reunion, I feel as though they are going to be the only ones together. I honestly, and I hate to say it, but I could see potentially Damian and Gigi being together too.
Is love blind?
You know what? For me, no. Like I said, if Carlton's egg had walked out, I don't know what I would have done.
I'm trying to think of any other memorable moments. Cameron rapping was epic.
Oh my God, that was the best. Cameron's just the best. I love him.
He is the best. The other thing that I thought was hilarious too is like when they were all eating their cakes, everyone was like, "Oh, I'll take a lemon cake," and then Cameron was like, "I want a chocolate cake."
Yeah.
And she's feeding them that. I was like, "This is a moment. This is a full moment."
Yeah, he's the best. I think one of my highlights for least favorite part was Barnett and Amber when they were at the altar and they were kissing and moaning. That was like an audio bit I did not need to hear. It was disgusting. I'm sorry. Like I want to have like a nice romantic kiss at the altar. However, like please don't stick your tongue down my throat.
Right.
In front of my grandfather. Like no. Like that's not happening ever.
Well, that's Amber for you.
What?
I said, well, that's Amber for you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm very excited for the reunion. I hope it's spicy. I hope that Jessica gets what she deserves.
Yeah, I think that she needs to show up ready. Like, of all people, she needs to say, hey, like, these were just genuine thoughts. Like,
if she doesn't own it, she's canceled.
She needs to own it, but she needs to say it's not unfair, because I believe that. I don't think it's unfair. And they just kept replaying the age thing, which really hurt her.
Well, it was her.
Like a sloppy mess.
It wasn't they. She was the one making the age thing a factor. Like she brought all of this, like everything that is coming to her and has been coming to her. She brought it on herself.
Yeah, I think the worst part about it too is maybe outside of Cameron and potentially Lauren, like she seems to be the one that's got her shit together the most. You know, like she seems very successful. She's got like nice house, you know, like she seems like she's been a very career driven person, which is great. And anyone that watched this show, I mean, it's going to be hard not to judge.
Yeah, I did stalk her Instagram the other day, and I saw that she had to turn off the comments on her pictures.
Yeah.
So I do kind of feel bad for her in that sense, but also like I went into it thinking she was going to be my favorite. So,
which I think they did a really good job at like kind of turning the table and building her up to be of interest and then letting her show her true colors.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's been a great season. I'm looking forward to the reunion.
I'm looking forward to a season 2. I hope there is one.
Me too. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Love is blind or love is not blind. That is the question. Please sound off. Go ahead and send your friends this episode. Send our Instagram to them at allegedly Katie Dakota. My personal Instagram is at kt.hen.
And mine is at Dakota Etheridge.
Thank you all so much, and we will see you in the next one.